Dear chess friends, dear Chessmood family, I'm Grandmaster Johan Hellsten at your service, and today I would like to share with you an interesting topic, opening up lines for the attack. As you can see in this position, White is definitely playing for an attack here. His bishops are very well placed towards the Black King, and also the Knight has found a really nice square on d6. The question is, how to continue the attack? How can we progress here in our attack at the Black King? At this moment, please pause your video and try to find White's best move. Try to find a good attacking plan for White here. Okay, I will continue. In the first place, please notice that we shouldn't swap the rook on b8. After rook takes b8, Black would definitely take with the rook, and this would help him, perhaps at some moment, to run away with the king, the escaping king, so to speak. So it's not a good idea to swap on b8. It's better to wait for him to take our rook on b1. Another idea that might cross your mind is to play bishop c2. In this way, we would prepare a battery with queen d3. However, it seems that Black would here use another idea, mobilization to the defense. He could play knight e7. By bringing the knight to g6, he would be able to resist the white attack. In the game, however, White found a very nice idea. He noticed the importance of opening up new lines for the attack, and for this reason he played here g5, with the immediate idea of clearing the d1 h5 diagonal for the queen. Here it's not easy to save Black. In the game, Black tried rook takes b1. Well, if he had taken on g5, well, White would continue queen h5 with a mating threat on h7. Black's only reply here would be g6, and as you might already have guessed, it's time for sacrifices. We would play here bishop takes g6, f takes g6, queen takes g6, king h8. At this point, as you can see, White already has the draw assured, but of course he would like to play for a win here, so he would probably take on g5. At first place, this looks risky for White, because the g file is open. However, Black cannot really profit from this. If he plays rook g8, of course, he would be mated after queen h6, so he would have to take on g5 first. And here, White can use a nice intermediate move. He can first give check on h5, so that he can pick up the bishop with check next move. And after king h7, White would give check again in order to expose the Black king along the g file. And at this point, we have the mobilization idea again. In order to win this game, White needs to bring some more attacking piece to the action. And this could be done by the very nice move, king h1. This way, the rook will come to g1. Please notice that it must go to h1, the king, because h2, it's not possible, because then Black could take the pawn on f2. So it's important to be precise in the attack. King h1, winning move. Black would have no defense against the move rook g1. If he takes the rook on b1, well, we would simply take back, and still, next move, rook g1 would come. Back to the game. After the move g5, Black played rook takes b1. We were commenting on the variation h takes g5, queen h5. We could, of course, also consider to play with Black here, bishop takes g5. However, it would be basically the same thing. White would just take on g5, and then he would profit from this new line for the attack by playing queen h5. Again, after g6, we would sacrifice. Now this is even easier to understand. Again, we have the nice intermediate check, queen h5, in order to pick up the pawn with check. And then, after king h7, you might already have guessed what will happen here. Exactly, queen h5 check, king g7, and again, the very precise move, king h1, making way for the rook to g1. There would be no defense for Black. Time to go back to the game. After g5, Black took on b1. And what do you think would be the best recapture here? Of course, we should take with the bishop, because the queen is heading for this diagonal, right? It would like to go either to h5 or to g4. So for this reason, it's better to take with the bishop. Black tried now. In order to prevent queen h5, he tried here g6. Giving up a pawn, in order to somehow restrict the white pieces. However, after g takes h6, it turned out that the threat of queen g4, it has become extremely strong. Black tried king h8, and after queen g4, black played bishop e7. And again, once we have almost all our pieces in perfect places, it's a good moment to try a sacrifice. And that's what happened here. White played bishop takes g6. Extremely nice sacrifice. Please notice that this little pawn on h6, it's extremely helpful in our attack. If black takes on g6 after queen takes g6, it would be mate basically next move, because we're threatening to give mate on g7, and if black plays here rook g8, well, we would give mate on f7 instead. So after bishop takes g6 in the game, black tried to play bishop takes d6. However, instead of taking the bishop, which would be possible as well, white found an even nicer move here. He played the very strong sacrifice bishop h7. So in this way, he creates the threat of queen g7, and at the same time he assures that the black rook cannot come to g8. So at this point, black resigned. If we go back to the beginning, what happened here was that white had very well placed pieces, but he noticed the necessity of bringing more pieces to the attack, opening up new lines, especially for his queen. And for this reason, he played here the very nice kind of breakthrough move, g5. And after rook takes b1, bishop takes b1, g6, in order to stop the move queen h5, white took on h6, and after king h8, queen g4, he was already preparing here white to take on g6, and that's what happened in the game. He took, and nice finishing move, bishop h7, with inevitable mate. Extremely nice attack from white in this game. At this point, I would like to share with you a little exercise. In this position, you are playing with the white pieces. What would you play with white here? Which would be white's best move? How to continue the attack? You can put your answer in the comment section. Thanks for today, and see you next time. Good luck, and thanks for joining the channel and Chessmood.